Most of the 800,000 federal workers who were not paid during the partial government shutdown are starting to receive back pay. But there are potentially millions of government contractors who may never see a dime. Ed O'Keefe met with some of them. He's at the Smithsonian's National Air and Space Museum in Washington, which reopened this week. Ed, good morning.
Good morning, John. When we talk about government contractors, folks might think it's IT specialists or the folks that helped build the lunar landing here behind me. In reality, most of them are like the folks that cook in the kitchens here at the museum, clean the bathrooms, or provide security at Smithsonian museums and other federal buildings across the country. And unfortunately for them, the prospect of getting any back pay after the recent shutdown is slim.
It's really hard.
The government shutdown isn't over for single mom Lonice Hamilton.
I'm definitely scared of being evicted. I'm scared of my car being repoed, scared of my lights getting turned off, scared of my gas getting turned off.
And scared she won't see any back pay for 4 weeks of missed work at the Smithsonian's Air and Space Museum. A security guard, Hamilton protects government buildings. But as a contractor, she doesn't feel the government is there to protect her.
It's really stressful not knowing where my money is coming from, not knowing when I'm going to be able to buy my son his next meal.
Told she makes too much income for food stamps, Hamilton says she can't afford to buy the lunch her 5-year-old likes to take to school.
He's kind of sad about that. He doesn't get the things that he usually gets.
Meanwhile, nearly 1,500 miles away near the Mexican border, another government contractor, Kevin Doyle, also is struggling to feed his children.
We went through the car and found all the change we had. I went in the seats trying to find out how much money we had to our name, which was nothing at the time. But we scraped up $3.89 for a Happy Meal for my 4-year-old. And we both sat there and cried in the parking lot of McDonald's.
He had issues paying for her recent doctor's visit and couldn't afford his mortgage or his oldest daughter's college tuition.
When it comes down to not being able to provide for your children, that day was the most heartbreaking day I've ever had.
Still, Doyle quit his job as a contract encryption specialist for the Air Force.
As soon as we got the notice that everything was opening back up and we were not going to be paid, I'm like, I can't do this no more. This is it. I'm done.
Today, he's starting a new job as a contractor in the private sector. But it comes with a pay cut, more than $30,000.
They want to bicker somewhere else in Washington, D.C. or elsewhere. You know, we shouldn't be held accountable for their actions.
Now, dozens of Democrats in Congress agree.
This bill is about simple justice.
Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal is backing a bill that would provide back pay to low-wage contractors.
And how on earth do we pay for this?
We have to take it as one of the costs of that shutdown, which could well have been avoided if the president had simply come to his senses a little bit earlier.
By one estimate, 3.7 million people work for the government as contractors, doing $200 million worth of work each week. But that no longer includes Kevin Doyle.
They mentioned 800,000 workers, but they never mentioned the contractors that work in and around them. And that's not fair.
Now, that bill that Senator Blumenthal is sponsoring doesn't have any Republican co-sponsor right now, but he said he's hopeful that the issue of back pay for low-wage contractors might come up during the negotiations that lawmakers are having right now to avoid yet another shutdown, which, by the way, if they can't find an agreement, starts 2 weeks from today. John?
Ed, thank you. It is an outrage. Great work, Ed.
I think Kevin Doyle really encapsulated what it is, not only the fear that you have about not being able to provide for your family, but the pain.
Yeah.
And no one working for the U.S. government should be desperately searching for change to buy a Happy Meal for their child in the car.
And this is the most basic thing a government can do, which is meet its minimum requirements for keeping the lights on and paying the people it's promised to pay.
Yes, agreed.